Good afternoon, everybody, or morning, as the case may be, because we're going worldwide with this one. Waiting for attendees to filter in. I think we can see just about everybody is launched at this point. And welcome to CAWcast number 2, as we're broadcasting worldwide here. I'm John Margolick. I'm a captain type in the United States Marine Corps. I'm also the director of the Centers for Adaptive Warfighting, which is in part a project of NavalX, but mostly run and powered by Marines and sailors across the fleet, as well as members of the naval civilian workforce, from whom you'll hear today. I'm going to toss it over to them in just a few minutes. It'll be the last time you hear my voice for a while. But I want to say a couple of things up front, just to set the table. The first of these is that agility is really the word of the day. We usually avoid using that word as we're talking at the centers or at NavalX, because it means a lot of different things to a lot of people, but we're going to have a bunch of time to talk about it today. And hopefully we'll leave understanding a little better what it means, and most importantly, how to get after it, how to make it happen where we are, every place we might be. And as part of that, we want to highlight circumstances change pretty dramatically, whatever the mission is that we're pursuing, for you, for us too. And even as we find our way into a teleworking world, the obstacle is the way. We're all fans of Marcus Aurelius around here. The mission continues, the dream will never die. You may be at home in your pajamas. You may not be able to get a haircut at your local establishment because all non-essential businesses are closed. But we have the opportunity still to learn from one another. It's one mission, one team, one fight, and as it turns out, one educational experience. And today's educational experience is brought to you by your sailors and your Marines across the force and around the fleet. And they're here today with you. I want to emphasize that this is a public space, this broadcast. So social media rules apply. We're certainly not getting into anything which might be FOUO or anything other than what we could discuss in any other public open forum. Unfortunately, we're all looking for other tools for our official DoD business. Right here, social media is where it's at. It's our opportunity to talk to each other and to pursue part of the NavalX and broader Department of the Navy mission of talking to each other, to the world, private sector, and most importantly, to those of us who are working with each other to get the mission done each day. I want to introduce our host for the rest of today. Captain Gage McKenzie is a supply officer out of Marine Corps Special Operations Command. He's a volunteer leader for one of our Centers for Adaptive Warfighting. He's a stellar graduate of our courses. We've learned to rely on him all the way through. He also, because we're not alone in that, became this year the Travis Manion Logistician of the Year for the Marine Corps, and we are deeply proud and grateful to have him as our host for the rest of the program. Mac, I turn it over to you.
Thanks, John. So CAWcast, powered by NavalX. Thank you, Secretary Gertz, for letting us drive agility in the force and across the Department of the Navy. Some of you might be wondering what a CAW is, a Center for Adaptive Warfighting. So it's an organization of volunteers, similar to a lot of the people you'll hear from today, myself included, that are graduates of some of the courses. And it really drives at what some of you may have heard from the most recent vector, creating a more agile force defined by more agile people. So today what we're looking at doing, you'll hear from a couple senior leaders in 15-minute increments, making sure we save about 5 minutes on the end for your questions. And then in the second hour, you'll hear from Marines and sailors that are in the trenches, driving agility within the naval forces. Just to reiterate, please remember that these are social media rules, no FOUO content. And before I introduce our first speaker, I'm going to hand it over to Roy Nanku, another volunteer that works with the Center for Adaptive Warfighting, to kind of go over some Zoom functionalities. Roy, over to you.
Hi there, everyone. I am Staff Sergeant Roy Nanku, and I am a proud volunteer with the CAW, the Centers for Adaptive Warfighting. A little about the CAW, we are filled with a bunch of volunteers. We all have day jobs. We're all assigned to another organization. For instance, I am with 2nd Maintenance Battalion in the Maintenance Operations Section. And I definitely take pride and find time to fill my plate with other things that I can do to produce. Production is huge. A lot has gone into what we do here with our courses that we do, as well as our webinars, from graphic design to getting wonderful and awesome panelists and speakers all aboard and on board to rock and roll. Then last but not least, we're talking about agility. We're talking about innovation. We're talking about overcoming. Being a part of this organization is absolutely wonderful because this is the stepping stone to achieving that. Later on, we'll talk about Vector 16 pushed out from the SECNAV. It's a big one. It definitely widened our eyes and we kind of wondered, was that written for us of what we're doing? But it's not. Agility has been around the DoD down forces for a very long time. So Mac, I look forward to everyone's questions. Their Q&A real quick in the comments. Please use that for comments. And then Q&A, please use that to ask our panelists these questions that you may have. We look forward to answering them. Thanks, Mac.